Alright, so welcome back to Daily Web Coding. In today's video, we're going to learn TypeScript by building to do CRUD operation with Express.js, Sequelize, and the Sqlite3. And also, I'm going to talk about the best practice with Express and also how to improve the performance using the Express validator. And also, this is what we're going to do for this in this video. And so I'm sharing what I know. Everything's about TypeScript and everything's about Express and to connect with SQLite. All right, I hope you enjoy it. So let's get into the video. All right, so the first thing first that we're going to do is we're going to set up TypeScript for our project. So here I'm using VS Code, so you can use any ticket that you want. And I'm going to run the npm init-y. So this is going to generate the package.json for us. And I'm going to use yarn to install TypeScript, so you can use npm as well. I'm going to install this as a Dev dependency, so TypeScript. And then we're going to install the ts node-dev. So this one is just similar to node-mon for JavaScript. So whatever chain in our TypeScript file, it's going to watch that. So right now we have installed this one. So I'm going to create a folder source right here. That inside here I'm going to do server. So we're going to do .ts since we work with TypeScript. So right now, I'm going to do the consoles.log hello world. All right, so to run this one, and then I'm going to go into script right here. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to do this one as a dev. So we're going to do ts node-dev, and then we want to target the file. So source right here, source/server.ts. And right now you can do yarn run dev. So this one is going to, all right, let's see. I think I misspelled one. This one should be server.ts. All right. So right now you can see we have the hello world, but it's not watch. So we want to whatever chain in the ts file. So it keep watching the file. So to do that, we want to run a command response right here. So right now we can run again, yarn run dev, this one. It's going to watch whatever chain right here. So right now we're chain hello to hello 1, 2, 3. So you can see the hello 1, 2, 3 down below. Right, it's great. So the next thing is we want to set up the config file, and we want to build our TypeScript to JavaScript. So when we want to deploy to production. So before doing that, so we need to create a TypeScript config file. So I'm going to run npx tsc-init. So this is going to generate the TypeScript config file. So as you can see, there's a lot of things right here, and you can read the comment right here, what it say. So the target right here is like when we compile our TypeScript to JavaScript and which version that we want to target. So for this, I'm going to use the ESNext. So it's going to give me the latest versions. And then we use common.js, yes. And right now we're gonna do the router. So the root directory right here is gonna be, it's gonna tell where the TypeScript live. So TypeScript live is in the root directory, and the outer right here is where do we want to, let's say, compile. When we want to compile the TypeScript to JavaScript, where do we want to put it? So in this case, I'm gonna put this in folder called dish right here. And that's it. So when we run build the TypeScript, it's gonna go generate the folder dish and put everything inside that one. And the last one is, I'm gonna search this one real quick, is modules, modules resolutions. This one right here. This one is recommend for Node. So I'm just uncomment this one. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for in our case. But you can read the comment what it has to need to add. If you're working with DOM, there's also need to slightly a little bit different. But for now, in our case, we're working with Express. I think this is good. So I'm going to close this one. So we go back to package.json and we want to add some more command. So we want to build. So we just run the tsc command. That's it. And for the start, so this is for the production. We can do just node. Let's say we have the output, our JavaScript is going to be dish. So when we deploy, we want to use the JavaScript file instead of TypeScript file. So we want a dish and source/server.js. So right now, if I were to run the command yarn run build, So it's gonna create a dish folder for us, and inside the dish folder, it's gonna have source/server. As you can see, we have hello 123 right here, and I guess that's pretty much it. Also, when you can yarn run start. So this is just a normal Node.js. It just run this one. All right, guys, I think that's it for this one is going to be done. Set up Typescript for our development server. And the next thing is we're going to do is to set up the basic Express server with TypeScript. All right, see you in the next part. All right, so in the previous part, we have set up TypeScript already. So in this part, we're going to write the basic Express server. So first, we need to install the Express to our project. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to do yarn add Express. And then I'm going to go back into our server.ts. I can remove this one. So we can import Express from Express. So right now you can see we have an error right here. So the reason is that we need to have the type for this module. So you can see they also suggest that we need to install this one for our projects. So for some module, it requires for the type for it. So in order to know that it requires type or not, you can come here. So as you can see, we have the Express right here. So if this one just show you TS, so it means it does need to install the type for it, but it's just to show you DT right here, it means we need to install the type for it. So you can click right here. It's gonna show you the add type right here. So we can copy this one, and then we can add this one from yarn add -d. I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. And then, so we install it Dev dependency. So after we install this one, the error should be gone. All right, so wait for a moment. Great, so right now it should be gone. So you can see, and then we can just write our basic server Express right here. So we're gonna do app.get. So when you go into the root right here, you're gonna request and respond. So this one we should have a type for this one. It's okay to put it, and it's okay not to put as well. But right now we're working with TypeScript. Just give this one a type. So this one I just come from the TypeScript. So from the Express right here. So we can do here, and then we have the respond. Great, and then we can put it right here. This is gonna be type respond, and then we're gonna do just return a rest send hello world. Great. And then we're going to have a port. So the port is going to be, I'm going to run on port 9000. And then we're going to do apt dot listens on port, and which is console.log, that server is running. Let's say we do server is running on port 3000 plus port right here. So it's going to be port 9000. All right, so then I'm going to go here. I'm going to do yarn run dev. So this one is going to run development mode. So you can see right now our server is running port 9000. And then we can go here, go to localhost 9000. And there you go. So right now we can see our hello world. So that's pretty much it. So, and then I can click come here. So then we are done set up Express. Basic Express server. Next up, we're gonna set up a database, and then we're going to create the model. So all right, see you guys in the next part. All right, so in the previous part, we have set up the basic Express server. So in this part, we're gonna set up a database and create a model for it. So before doing that, you need to install the Sqlite right here. So as you can see, for the Sqlite package, it's coming with the TypeScript, so you don't need to install a type for this one. So please go ahead and install this one. I have already done that. And also we need to install the Sqlite3 as well. So since we're working with this database. All right, so you have to install both of that. So come back here, and then I'm gonna create the folder right here in source. I'm gonna go config, and inside the config right here, I'm gonna create a database.configs.ts. So make sure that ts. So since we're working with TypeScript, so I'm gonna do import right here. Oops, not this one. All right, so I'm gonna do import from Sqlite. Nope, not Sqlite. It's gonna be Sqlite, and then we're gonna get the Sqlite right here. and then we can do const db is equal to new Sequelize. And then we have some option right here. So I'm going to give a database name, let's say called apps. And then we have this one. So this one is going to be username and password. Username. This one is going to be password. So since we're working with the SQLite, so we don't need this one. So if you are working with, let's say, MySQL or Postgres, so we need to add this one. So for now, I'm just going to clear this one. I'm just empty string. And then we're going to have some option right here. So the option right here is we're going to, let's say, our storage, or we're going to use the path of storage. So since we're using with the SQLite, so we're going to do database.SQLite, and we're going to do the dialect right here. We're going to choose to use SQLite. So as you can see right here, we have some option that you can use. So this is all the database that you can do. So I'm choosing SQLite, and also for the logging for this, I'm going to do for. So the logging right here just show you the logs of the database, so which we don't want to see it. So then I'm going to do export defaults db. All right, that's it. And right now the database is done, so we can go back in here, so we can import that. So I'm going to import db from config/database config right here. So what I can do in this one, just do the db.thing, and then do then after it's done, we can do just console.log, let's say connect to database. So if you working with Postgres, it might be a little bit different. So you need to do the db authenticate right here. So you need to provide the password and the username. It's gonna go into here. So you can check the document for more of that. So right now this should be done, and right now you can see we have the database right here. So if we set up correctly, you would have the database with .SQLite right here as well. All right, cool. So right now we are done set up the database. So in the next part, we're going to set up create the model for to do. So since we're working with CRUD to do, so the next part we're going to create the model for it. All right, so see you guys in the next part. All right, so in this part we're going to create a model for our to do. So to do that, I'm going to create in another folder a model, and inside here I'm going to do the index.ts for our model. All right, so right in here I'm going to import model from Sqlite. All right, so and then we can just to create the class. So to do instance, I'm gonna call this to do instance. We're gonna extend from the model class, right, from the model right here. And for this one, I want to give the model attribute for this one as well. So for that, I'm going to create an interface for our to do. So let's say to do attribute right here. So and then we can have so in our to do, we're going to have an ID that is going to be a string. So this is the type string, and then we're going to have the title. Our title is going to be type string as well, and also we're going to have the completed. The completed is going to be boolean types. Great. And then we can just give the type this one to in here. So to do attribute, so I can just copy this one, and there you go. So right now we have our model extended model, so we can initial our to do instance. So we can do to do instance.init right here. So and right now you can, when we're doing this, it's gonna give us intelligence of what is attribute of our to do. So we're gonna have an ID. So as you can see, right now we have some errors, so because we need to give some option for our init as well. So right now the error is gone. So right now we just give the types for our ID right here. So we can do the type for this one. It's gonna be data types. So the data type right here is gonna import from the Sequelize as well. .strings. We have to do this one. And then, all right, let's see why we have some errors. Missing scope string. All right, I do this one. And then I'm going to do the primary key is going to be true. For this one is allow null to false. And then next is we're going to have the title. And the title is going to be types. It is going to be the string as well. So I'm going to copy the same things from here. And the allow null to be false as well. Great. And also we're going to have the completed. This is our last property. It's going to be type for this one. It's going to be a data type. It's going to be the Boolean value. And for also allow null to false, and we want to have set up the default value as well. So it's going to be default value is going to be false. So when you create the to do, it's going to be false. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. So in here we have to connect to the database. So it's going to be Sqlite. So we're going to use the Sqlite right here. So we can import our DB right here. So you can see we have our import our DB. And also we need to give the, oops, I'm going to give the table names. So the table name we can just call to-dos right here. And then we can export the class right here. So we can use it to create the to-do. All right, I think that's pretty much it for our model to-do. And so we are done with this one. And the next part, we're going to create the route in our Express route. And then we're going to use Postman to post the objects, our to-do, so then we can create the to-do. All right, so see you guys in the next part. All right, so in the previous part, we have created a model. So in this part, we're going to create the to-do route, so then we can create to-do. So to do that, I'm going to go back into the server.js. So right here, so we don't need this one, so I'm going to remove this one. So, and then we're going to create the post request. So for this one, we're going to do app.post. So when we want to create something, so we will use the post method. So, and I'm going to call this one create. So you can call this whatever you want. And then I'm going to give the type for this one. It's going to be request. And this one is going to be response. And then so when we post this one, so we're going to have the body from the client, they're going to post the objects for that. So we can read that from request.body. So for now, I'm just console.log the request.body. And for this, I'm going to just return rest.send none. So rest.empty. So when we post this one, we want to see this one. So to do that, I'm using Postman right here. So we can go into HTTP, so which we going to go into port 9000, and we're going to /create, and we're going to post the body. And so this is our body that we're going to do. It's a type as JSON, and then we're going to post this one. So when we hit send to this one, we should be able to see those objects. So as you can see right here, we have undefined. So the reason that we have undefined, so we need to use Express middleware so to read those body. So you can do body pather, but right now you can do this with Express itself. So you can do the apps.use, express.json. And so for this one is when you post again. So I'm going to post this one again. So we go back in here. So as you can see right now, we have this object right here. All right, that's great. Right now, what I wanted to do, so since we posting this one, so we want to generate an ID for this one. So to do that, we're going to install the UUID for our ID. So it's going to be UUID right here. All right, so you can install this one. And also we need to install the type for this one as well. So you can see we have, it's not dealing with the TS, Typescript. So we need to add the type for this one as well. I'm going to add UUID. And then also right here, I'm going to use the version 4. I'm going to copy here. I'm going to import right here. So right now it's going to fail because we need to install the type for it. So we click here, it's going to show us the type for this one. And you can add this one as well. You want add as a Dave dependency. So right now the error should be gone. So we need to generate the ID alongside with the request.body. And also for that, we need to change slightly a little bit different. So for our model, so go back into a model, instead of type string right here, we're gonna type UUID version 4. So this one is it need to be matched. Since we're using UUID version 4, so we need to do this one. Great. And we go back in here. So we have request.body. I can do const body is gonna be equal to UUID v4. And to create it, to do it actually really simple is we're going to we're going to import our to do instance that we just create, and now we just do dot create right here, and now we pass the object that we want to create. So the object is going to be, so I'm going to spread from the request dot body. So it's going to be object, so then we can like spread this one, and then we just add the ID to this one as well. So it is going to be the async await. So it's gonna give its promise. So I'm gonna use async await right here, and then when it's done, it's gonna return us the record, and then we can just send the record right here. So right here, I'm gonna do the JSON, and then for this JSON, we're gonna have the record, and also I'm gonna give the message for this one. It's gonna say successfully create to do. And also, if you want to catch an error, so it's going to be real simple, is we need to do, let's say, try and catch right here. So potential errors can be right here. So it's maybe like some our to do, like our internal error is going to be have some problem. So we can do return rest.json, return rest.json. So let's say the message is going to be fails to create. And then we're gonna go with the status for this one is gonna be 500 and 5000. And then also we want to have the route for this one, so it's easy for our developer to know that which route is happened, like which one route is get an error. All right, so right now we should see this one. So let's actually try to create it. So I'll go back in here. I'm gonna hit then right here. So as you can see, it's successfully create to do. So we successfully created. And if you want to look into the database, so right here we can view the database as well. So I can click in here, I can open the database. So as you can see below right here, we have this SQLite Explorer, and then you can click in here and you can see we have our to-dos that we just tables, and we click in here, as you can see we have our ID and we have tasks and complete right here. Perfect. If you want to see this one as well, you need to install the extensions called the Sqlite right here. So this one has allowed us to view the database. Great. So for now we are done. Create. So I'm gonna handle for this one a little bit. So we will do that in the next part. So right now, as you can see, when we create in this one, we need to validate the object that being passed. So if we look at our model, we have this attribute, right? We have the title and completed and the ID right here. And so when we pass this object to our create route, so we need to validate that. We need to make sure that this need to pass this right property. Let's say if I were to change this task right here and I hit send, it's going to have some error right here. So it's fine. So right now we handle an error, but the drawback of redoing this one without doing the extra validate on this one is that when we send the wrong or like invalid objects, we have to hit the database first to check if it's error or not. So it's not really good. It's not good for performance. The reason is that let's say you have we don't want it to hit the database, right? So we prevent it before accessing the database first. So that way we can boost our performance a little bit. All right. So for that, we will do that in the next video, in the next part. So all right. So see you guys in the next part. All right, so in the previous part, I have mentioned that we need to have the way to validate an object that being passed and so that we can prevent the error before hitting the database first. So to do that, we need to install use the dependency. It called Express Validator. You have to add this one. I have done it. And as you can see, this one built with Typescript. So we don't need to install the type for this one as well. All right. Cool. So for that, I'm going to create another folder right here. I'm going to call this one validators. and then I'm gonna call the index.ts. And so for this, I'm gonna create a class for it. So I'm gonna class validator. So let's say since we're working with to do, so I'm gonna call to do validator. And then we're gonna have the function for this one is gonna be, I'm gonna call this one check to do, check create to do, check create to do. And then we have the function. So this is going to return the array. So the array of check. So we need to use the body. So as you can see, we have to check the body object that being passed, whether it's right prop or right attribute for our to do instance or not. So to do that, we use the body. So this body is come from the Express validator. So it also has a property if you want to check the param. It also has param, and also it has a query as well if you want to check the query params. So right now we're interested in the body. So we want to check. So all right. So let's see what the property, what is the attribute of our to do. So it's gonna be this 3 value right here, right? So the main things that we want to have is title. So you need to pass the title. The ID can be optional, and the completed right here can be optional as well. So you can either pass the complete or not. It's up to you, and also for the ID as well. So let me show you here. So right now I'm going to remove the complete, and then I'm going to change this one back to the correct attribute. It's going to be title. I'm going to do the title 2. So when we hit send, so as you can see, it's okay as well. So it means the completed is going to be optional, and the title right here is going to be required. So for that, we can check this one, that the title, so we can say the title should be not empty. So we need to, then this one, like, hey, it's not empty. You need to provide it. And if they do not provide us, we're gonna give them the error message. Let's say the title value should not be empty. So this one, and then also we need to check it. I think that's pretty much it, I guess. All right, for this one, and for now, I'm gonna show you what does it look like. So we're gonna use this one, and also we need to use the middleware to handle an error. So all right, so I'm gonna export this one. So let's see, export default. So I'm gonna do new to do validator. So I'm gonna export as the object of this class, so that we don't have to initiate the new object in right here. So in here I can do the to do validator. So I need to import this one first. Import to do validator from validator. Cool. And then inside the validator right here, so this is not a middleware, it actually like the check for this one. So we need to call create to do as a function, so it's going to return the array for us. So as you can see, we need to put this one in the array. Right, so right now I'm going to go back in here. So right now we need to, so as you can see, before we're hitting this route, it's going to go into right here, and it's going to check whether they going to provide the right property or not. If it doesn't provide the right let's say the property, so we're going to handle an error right here. So this one is going to be just the middleware. So all right, so let's see. So this is another middleware for this one, and also I'm going to give the type for this one is going to be request, and this one is going to be the response. And for the next right here is going to be the next function. Cool. And then we can check if we can count the errors. It's going to be called validate. The validation result is from the request right here. So this validation right here, result right here is going to come from the Express validator as well. And then we're going to have this one, so we can check if it's not empty. So let's say if is empty, I think it's empty right here. If it's not empty, it means it has an error. So we can just return rest.json. So I'm gonna send the entire things right here, the error right here. And if it's okay, I can just do the next function. So it means right here, if it's have an error, we're gonna throw an error to the front-end developer to check it. And right now, if it's okay, we're gonna go next. We're gonna go right here. Cool. So right now, I'm gonna change this one to test instead. When we hit send this one, so you can see right now we have this one that the value should be not empty because we didn't provide this one. So right now, if I provide the right one and I hit send, right now you can see it's okay. Great. So the next thing is we need to validate the complete as well. So it's optional, but if they want to pass it, so we need to check it as well. So let's say when they pass the completed, so the completed value cannot be true. So when you want to create a to-do, it cannot be true, right? So it should be false. So that we need to check this one as well. And also the ID, it need to be the UUID v4. It's gonna be optional as well. So for now, we need to validate this complete first. So go back in here. I can add more property. Let's say body completed. Make sure that you spell it correctly. Completed. And then we do is like optional. We're gonna pass the optional for this one. And if they pass this one, should be boolean. And then we're gonna split the message. If they did not pass the boolean, we give them the message, the value should be boolean. And then also when they pass the boolean, and also we need to check the boolean, it should be the it need to be false, so that is in. So it's gonna be array 0 or 1, 0 or false. And then you need to, if they do not pass this value, we're gonna go with the message right here. The value should be 0 or false. All right, that's it. And also we need to check for an ID as well. For an ID, if they pass, we can do like it's optional. And also for this one is UUID. So we're gonna pass the version of this one since we're using version 4. So we need to pass the version 4. And then also we need to give them the message right here. The value should be UUID v4. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So right now we go back and if I try to create a do with the value the completed right here true, it's gonna yell at us that, hey, this one should be either 0 or false. So I'm gonna change this one to 0, but for now I'm gonna check its string first. We hit send, as right now you can see we have this right here, the error right here. Great. Also right now I'm gonna change this one to 0, so it means false. So I'm gonna change this one to task 4. We hit send. So right now everything is great. We be able to create to do, and also ID is gonna work the same way. So let's see. Yeah, for the ID, you're just passing the UUID, it's gonna work. So I don't have that, so I'll leave that to you. All right, so right now we be able to validate this one, and all right, great. But right now it's gonna be a little bit messy for this part. So in the next part, before going to read to do with pagination, I am going to clean this up a little bit. So we don't want to put everything inside the server file right here. We're gonna separate this one into separate folder. And all right, I think that's pretty much it for this part. So see you guys in the next part. All right, so in this part, I'm going to clean up this a little bit. So it's kind of right now, you can see in this route, there's a lot of things right here. So we should be separate this one. This one is going to be reusable for the other route as well. So for that, I'm going to create the folder right here called middleware. So this is our middleware. And I'm going to go, let's say, validation to do, let's say handle validations. So handle. Handle validations. Nope, I cannot spell it. Validation.ts. And in here, I'm gonna create a class for this one called middleware. And then we're gonna create a folder. Actually, it's not called this one, it should be index.ts, right? So because we put every middleware into this class, so it's just the index.ts is great. So for this, we can give a function called handle validation errors, and there you go, and go back to server. I'm gonna cut this one right here and paste it. All right, so right now it's a little, we need to pass this one to this one, and we're not using the, all right, cool. Let's see what cell that we need to change. So we need to get this one from the Express. So for that, I can do import request. So first I'm going to do Express, so it's going to give us the IntelliSense. So let's do here, request, respond, and then next functions. Great. And for the validation result right here, we need to import it from here, and then I'm going to remove it from this one, so we don't need this one. All right, great. So right now we have our middleware, and the next thing is what we wanted to do is we want to export this one. Export default new middleware. So same thing, export the objects of middleware. So right here I can just import middleware from, not from, it's from. It's gonna go into the middleware, and then we can do just middleware right here dot handle validation error. So we not call this one, that's why it's middleware. Great. So for this, you can create a controller folder for this one as well. So for that, we will do that in the next part, maybe by the end of the video. For now, we going to go back to over here. We're gonna read to do with pagination. The first, we just read to do first. So right now we are done with this one. I'm gonna close this one. So in order to read the data, so from our server, we will use the get request. So I'm gonna call this one read. And it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to copy this guy right here, so we don't want to retype it again, right? So right now I'm going to close this one. So right now I'm going to read from the database and then send it to the client. So I'm going to try and catch. So similar thing, I'm going to copy this one as well. Try right here, everything from here. I'm going to remove this one, and for this one, it's going to be read if there's any errors, fail to read this one. And then for the try right here, what we can do is try to read to do that instant dot let's say find all, and then we're going to do where right here, and then if you want to get everything, you just pass the empty right here. It's gonna be a promise, we need to wait this one, and so we're gonna get all the record for this one. All right, cool. So now we just return rest.json, and then we can pass the record that we have read. Great. So that's pretty much it for the read. And then we go back in here. I'm gonna create another one, and then I'm gonna copy from here, from this one. For the get request, make sure that you select the get one, not post, and then change right here to read as well. And when you hit send, it's gonna send get us all the record. So this one is great, it worked, but imagine if you have a database that have the record for 10,000 record, right? So you don't want to get allow people to actually query those 10,000 record with just one request. It's going to be slow down the network. You have to crawl all your database. Its performance is really bad for this one. So for that, we will do the pagination. We're going to give them, let's say, right now we're going to do the limit right here. We can pass the limit that say, be able to let them how many record that they can get. And then, yeah, so that's what we will do in the next part. So for now, I'm going to end this part right here. All right, so see you guys in the next part. All right, so in this part, we're going to start our pagination. So in order to do that, so I have mentioned you in the previous part, we're going to pass the limit right here. So the limit right here, for in my case, I'm going to let people query the maximum they can get is 10. So they can go below 10 or below 10 from 1 to 10. but it's about 10, I will not give them. So that's what I'm gonna do. So for that, we need to read this value. So for now, I'm going to read this value first. So in order to do that, we can, let's see, so we can const query. So this one is going to be the limit. I'm going to get the value is going to be request.query. And then we can see the value of this one. Right, for now, I'm going to console for you guys to see that. So the limit right here. Oops, I cannot spell it. Limit. And right now, when I pass this limit, I hit send. So, all right, so it works. Oh, okay, this one is wrong because before this one, it should be the question marks. So when I hit send, it's working fine. If we go and check at this one, you can be able to see the number 10 right here. Perfect. So right now we can use this one. So we can pass this one to the limit right here. So this one has the limit or like property that we can limit our request. So I'm gonna do limit right here. So right now we have some error right here because the type of this limit, it should be the number, either number undefined, but from the request.query, we have the type, this type right here. So let's see, if you hold on this one, it can be string, something like that. So we need to cast this one to either number or it should be the undefined. So we cast this one as number or undefined. So we can do or undefined right here. Oops, I cannot spell it. All right, let's see. Is there something wrong with this one? Great. So then I will not destructure this one, and I will do the dot limit right here. Great. And then I will do question mark for in case they did not pass anything right here. So right now, we be able to do this one. So and as you can see right now, we have the task, 4 tasks, right? So I'm going to limit. So let's say we'll do limit 2. So we're going to send them only 2 tasks only. All right, perfect. That works. And the next thing is we wanted to do is to validate this one, right? So we need to make sure that people need to pass this limit as a number. And also in my case, I want to limit them only the value from 1 to 10. So for that, I'm going to go into our validator class right here. And then I'm going to do right below this, I'm going to create another function called checks read to do. This one. And then also we're going to return. So this time, return an array. So this time, instead of the body, we're going to check the query instead. So this is the query parameter. For that, we're gonna need to pass the limit. So when they go into that route, this one need to be passed, require. So this one is be not empty. All right, let's see why it did not give me. All right, as you can see, we need to get the query from here, not from the Express, and it should give me intelligent. It's not empty. And then if they do not pass this one, we need to tell them the query. Let's say limit should not be empty. So you can give any message you want. So should be not empty. And when they pass the value for us, it should be is numeric. Actually, it's not numeric. It's int. It's integer. Should be is integer. And also we need to have an option right here. So the minimum of this one, it should be 1, and the maximum should be 10. So if you want to, let's say, increase the value, let's say a 20, it's up to you right here. And if they do not pass right here, we tell them like the value, the limit value should be between, should be integers, should be number right now, and between 1 to 10. Great. So right now we check this one. Now we go back into our server.ts and we can insert it right here between right here. We can do to do validator dot check to do check read to do, and also we need to handle an error for that one. So we can do just the middleware dot handle error right here. Perfect. So right now, whenever I don't pass this limit right here, I hit send. So this one should be this one is show them like the message. But in this case, the error right here should be is an array. we're gonna make life a lot easier for front end, so I'm gonna send them the first error only. So for that, I'm gonna go to middleware. I'm gonna do dot array and then gonna send the first error for them. So when we hit send, so hey, the limit should be not empty. So right now, when they pass the limit right here, let's say they pass as a string hello, and they hit send again, and they can see it say the value hello, something like that, should be number. So, and then when I pass the 20, it's gonna fail because it should be between 1 and 10. So if I pass 9 right here, it's gonna work. All right, perfect. So right now we done this one, but in order to complete the pagination, we want to get the offset of it, right? So let's say I want to get the limit only 2, so I'll get the task 1 and 2. So, and then the next thing is we need to, let's say, get the another 2 that after this 2 right here, right? So we need to pass the offset of this one that I want another 2 after the first 2. So that's what we will do. So we will get the next, let's say you hit the next page, you will be able to get the task 3 and 4. So for that, we will working on the offset. So you need to provide us the offset right here. All right, so let's say the offset 2, so this one, and then we need to check this one and also write some code to make sure that it works. So this one is going to be exactly the same for this one instead, but we're going to change this one to offset instead of limit. And then we're going to pass the offset right here as well. Oops, not order, it's going to be offset. And right now, as you can see, right when I do this one, when I hit send, as you can see, we have the 3 and 4. So this one is like offset 2, like after the first 2 record, give me another 2 record. So if you can do like after the first 2, give me like the first 3, it's also fine as well. But since we have only 4 records, so that's why we have this one. So I'm going to create another record right here. So right now I'm say limit 3 right here. As you can see right now, after the first 2, give me another 3. So this one we have task 3 and task 5. But lastly, we need to check the offset right here as well. So right now, you can pause the video and try to do this on your own. So we're gonna go to offset, and offset should be optional. Like, you know, you can either pass this one or not, it's up to you. But when you pass, it should be numeric. It should be number that you have to pass this one. So we need to give them the message. Let's say the value should be let's say the value should be number. So right now when I pass the offset, let's say the string, and then I hit send, so right now as you can see we have failed this one. And also you can absolutely pass any number you want, but this one is gonna return empty, so that's gonna be fine. We don't have to handle this one. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for the read with paginations. And then we will move on next. So this one is going to be really easy as well. So I will do this one now. So in the next part, we will do the update to do. So going back to our server, we will do the read with the ID. So I'm going to this one, I'm going to paste this one. It's the same thing. But instead of passing the query, we're going to pass with the ID for this one. As you can see, you have the route, and then you give us the ID. And I'm going to remove this one. So I'm going to remove this one as well. And fail to read. And then this one, we need to give them a pass right here. /ID. Great. So what we wanted to do in this part is to query where. So we need to read the param instead. So const ID is going to be equal to requested params. So this one is param, and the this one, the question mark and the end sign right here is called query. Right now we have the ID param, so we want to query this one. We want to await to do instance dot find one where. So it's gonna be where, it's gonna be pass an ID. So you can see it gives us an intelligent right here. So we find the ID, so we give them the ID right here. That's great. And then we're gonna have the record, and then we can do just send a record for them. returns rest.json, and then we can pass the record. Great. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So right now we're gonna go into this one. I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna create this. Let's say we're gonna read from to do, so read, and then we pass the let's say the ID. So right now I'm gonna go into offset. I'm gonna get the ID from this one, and we just read this one. So this one is task 2. If it shows us task 2 right here, it means it's working fine. Great. So you can see right now it'll be able to read this one with an ID. Perfect. So the next thing is we need to validate this ID. So whatever they pass in here, it should be like valid things. So to do that, it's the same, similar. So for this one, I think we're going to reuse this one. So we're gonna do this one exactly the same for the update as well. So for that, I'm gonna create a function that can be reusable. The name for that, I'm gonna call, let's say, checks, let's say ID params. And then for this one, it's gonna return. So right now we're working with param, so we go to get a param from Express validator, and our param right here is gonna be call ID. And for an ID, so we need to say it should be not empty. First of all, it should be not empty. We have to pass this one, and with the message, the value should be not empty. And also when they pass, it should be is UUID, and we need to pass the version of this one as well, version 4 for this. And then we'll if they did not put it correctly, we can show them the message. Let's say, hey, the value should be UUID v4. Perfect. And go back into here, same things. So it's gonna be to do validator, and then we're gonna do check params, and then we're gonna have the middleware to handle the validation error. Perfect. So right now, when I go back in here, when I say this one is not a valid UUID v4, if I hit send, it's gonna say this is not a valid ID. So, but if they do, let's see right here. Great. Let's say, what if I provide it wrong? So it's gonna be null. So that's fine. So because we do not have any this ID right here. So let's say if I were to pass an empty right here, what it should be. So if it's empty, so it's gonna go back into this route right here. So it's fine first as well. So if they do not pass any param, so it means they want to read. So that if they want to read, they need to have the limit query. So I guess that's pretty much it for our reads right here. So right now we are done with our read with ID as well. So in the next part, we're gonna focus on the update to do, and if it's fast enough, we will do the delete as well. All right, so see you guys in the next part. All right, so in this part, we're gonna update our to do. So to do that, I'm gonna go back in here, our server.js. So I'm gonna get the put method. So in order to update this one, so we need to use the put method. So I'm gonna call this one update. So I'm gonna copy a little something from here. Right. So it's gonna be a little similar, and then we can remove this one, and also for this one is gonna be update. So when we update, so we need to pass an ID. So which one that we want to update, which to do. So in this one, we can get a param, same things. It's gonna be ID is gonna be equal to request.params, and then first we need to find if that to do it exists or not. So to do that, I'm going to, let's say, const. It's gonna be exactly the same as this one, right? So as you can see, we need to find one who will get the record. I'm gonna copy this one. So after this, we can check if not record. If not record, we just return rest.json that, let's say, the message is gonna be cannot find the existing record, and that's it. And also if it's if the record exists, what we can do is just await record dot update, and then what value that we want to update. So what we want to update is the completed value, so it's going to be update completed right here, and then the value should be come from the record itself. It's going to be the record right here dot get value, and then we just pass the complete right here. So we will get the value from here, and then we do the question mark right here. So this one is be able to toggle the value completed. So if this complete first, it's false. So when we update, it's gonna be true. So it's true, it's gonna go back into false. And then we can have the update record. So it's gonna be updated record right here. And then we can do the return rest.json updated record. Updated record. So right now we should be able to see, we should be able to update our record. So go back in here. I'm going to all right, so I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to create another request. So this one, it should be put request instead of the get request. So it's going to be exactly the same with this one. I'm going to copy this one, not exactly the same. Update, and then we're going to pass our ID. So our ID, let's see. I'm going to update the task2 right here to true. So I'm going to copy the ID, and then I pass this one, and I hit send. This should be able to update the ID to the true right here. So if I were to send again, they should toggle to false. All right, perfect. And the next thing is we want to validate this one. So we have already done that before. So we can do just do, let's say, to do validator.checks ID params. And also we just put a middleware.handle those errors. And that's done. So right now, let's say if I were to put the wrong ID, it should show us that the ID, if the record does not exist. If I do not invalid ID, it say, hey, this one is not valid. All right, so perfect. So it's done. So right now we are done updated to do. And so in the next part, we will do the delete. All right, so see you in the next part. All right, so in this part, we're going to delete our to do. So that is going to be really simple. So I'm going to copy from the update right here. So basically it's going to be do almost exactly the same as this one. So instead of doing the update, we're going to do delete. And also for the method, we're going to do is delete as well. If you want to delete, you need to use this method. And basically the same thing. It's just going to, hey, get the params, check the param as well. And also this one is going to be not update. This is just this one right here. Instead of update, we're going to call this one destroy. So we're going to destroy this record, and let's say this one we got to delete it record, and then we can send this one. Right, perfect, and that's it. And for if we have some error, one thing that we can do the delete right here, this route. Right, that's pretty much it. So this one is really simple. Let's see. So right now, instead of put right here, so I can copy this one and go into here, and then I choose the method for this one is going to be delete, and we hit send. Right now, as you can see, we have some errors. So all right, let's see, because we putting the wrong route, so it should be deleted. And as you can see right now, the value should be ID v4. So right now I'm gonna get the ID v4. So because we're putting the wrong ID forward delete for this, that's good. So right now we don't hit the database, so we just hit from the validator. So right now you can see our task2 is being deleted. If we check all the record right here, if we run right here, as you can see, we have the task2 is gone as well. All right, I think that's pretty much it for this. So right now we have completed our CRUD operations. Create, read, to do, we have handled some error. So, and the last things that I wanted to do is probably clean this one a little bit. We want to put this one into another folder. So for that, I can create another folder called controller, and I'm going to do the index.ts right here. So this one, let's say I'm going to call class name to do controller, and then we have the functions right here. Let's say read. For this one, it's going to be read to do controller.read and update and something like that. So I can put right now the create right here. So we can cut, I can cut this one, and I'm going to paste it right here. So we can change this one a little bit. It's going to be read. All right, so I need to remove some things from here. Let's see. All right, cool. And now we need to import all of the import everything into this place. So instead of this place, so let's say we have the middleware, we have this one. This should be gone, right? Should be coming here. Let's see. All right, perfect. This one should be go out one directory. All right. Great. So let's see why we still have this error right here. So because we need to pass the type for this one. Let's see, and then this should be gone. I'm gonna remove the next functions right here. We don't need to use it right here because it's not a middleware, and also this one need to be async functions. So async. Great. So right now we are done with this one. We can create 3 more functions right here, and this one is gonna be called the update read with ID, read with pagination. You can call this name whatever you want, but I think like one of the hardest things about coding is like, you know, giving the right names. Let's see, this one is not be read, right? It's gonna be create. This read with pagination, read with ID, read by ID, and also this one is gonna be update, and the last one is going to be delete. So I'm not putting everything the functionality just yet. I'm gonna put the name for this one first, and for the read with paginations we can come back here. First I'm gonna remove this one. Oh, we need to import this one in here instead. Sorry. So let's bring back this one right here and put it right here. Great. And now we can here to do, but I'm not export this one just yet. Let's see. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go at the bottom right here. I'm gonna do export default new to do controller, and then inside here I can do the to do controller. So I need to import it first. So import to do controller from controller. Perfect. All right. So, and then I'm gonna go back here to do controller.create. So this is right here. Perfect. So this one is we read this one with pagination. So one thing that I can do, I can cut this one and go back in here, read with pagination. So I can remove this one, and yeah, right, it's correct. So then I can remove this one as well, and we can do to do controller dot read with paginations, and this one is going to be read by ID. So let's see, I'm going to cut this one, and then we paste this one right here, read with by ID. All right, so we're going to do to do controller dot read by ID. All right, and then for the put, so I'm going to cut this one, going to the update right here, remove, paste this one, and also the last one is going to be the delete. All right, cut this one, also this one as well. I make sure that everything is working fine. Great. And then we can just remove this one and we can call to do controller dot this one is going to be delete, and also this one is going to be to do controller dot read read write dot update. All right, perfect. So right now we clean up this one, so let's test it out. So let's actually create this one. I'm going to create a task 6. As you can see, it's working fine. So let's do our pagination. It's working fine. We read by ID. So let's say I'm gonna get this ID right here. All right, cool. With read with the ID, I'm gonna paste the ID right here. So as you can see, we be able to read with the ID, and also I'm gonna update this one right here. I'm gonna remove this ID, paste this ID in, remove, perfect. And also last one, we're gonna delete this one. All right, cool. So right now we be able to do all of this. So I'm gonna say something about this one. So as you can see right here, I put the status right here instead of the status right here. You can put the status right here as well. But if you are working with React, if you put the status right here, so let's say 500, it's gonna refuse. It's gonna cannot get objects that fail right here in the React because it needs to have 200. So that's why I put the status right here instead of putting status in this one. So I guess that's pretty much it. So we can do like more into this one. Like you can remove this one out of the server.js completely by creating the route for this one. So for that, I can do the route right here, and inside the route I'm going to do index.ts, and we can do the router, like so this one, import express from express right here, and then we can do const router is going to be express dot router, and then you can copy everything from here. So you cut this one out, and then you put it right here, and then you, instead of this app right here, you can change this one to router, right? And then you need to import everything inside this one. So this 3 right here should be coming here. So it's gonna be the folder right here. Great. All right, this one should be router. All right, this one should the import right here is wrong because we need to put this on the bar. Perfect. And then we need to export default router, and then we can use this router right here. So we can do app.use router that we have. So in this one, if you working with to do, you can do actually like say to do router. And if you like, you can put the pass before it as well. Let's say you work with the API, you work for build an API, you can do API version 1. So this one is looking really good. So it's come back here. When you create, you need just to, let's say, put the API v1 inside this one, API/v1, and you can create this one as well. So it's going to be exactly the same thing. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So last one is I'm going to talk about the folder structure a little bit. So right now you can see everything is just put index.js. So for that, I'm going to make this one, let's see, I'm going to put, let's say we're working with to do, I'm going to put to do right here. So I'm going to put every folder inside the to do right here. So I'm going to save this one first. And then we're going to put our controller. So the controller right here is for to do as well. It's going to change some things. So you make sure that let them auto change for you. So it's going to be easier. And for the model, I'm going to put inside the to do as well. Hit save this one. And I think that's pretty much it, right? The validator, it could be, so since I'm calling this one to do validator, I'm going to put this one in to do as well. All right, great. So we hit save this one. So everything should working fine right now. All right, so our model. So we have some error right here. So let's see what error that we have. Let's see our model. let's see. Let's try to create another this one. All right, so we have some error right here. So let's see what is the error that we have. To do router, it's fine, and then we have this one right here. This one, it should be not out two folder, right? So the middleware is two folder. It's great. So let's see, where do I use the model? So let's see, we have the error right here. So as you can see, we inside cannot find the modules inside the controller. So the controller right here, we cannot find the model. All right, I don't know why. It should be, because the model is in right here, it should be out one folder. It's gonna go to model. It's should working fine, but let's see. We need to rerun this one again. Yeah, as you can see, it's working fine. So let's create a to-do. All right, that's it. So right now we are done. All right, so for the folder structure right here, there's no right or wrong way to structure your folder. So this is probably my way of structure things. So it's not the right way to do it. So in this mic, I just feel right to do this one. If you doesn't feel right to do it, just don't do it. Do it your own way. And so yeah, that's how you structure your folder. You need to be able you need to change it. All right, so in order to make it feel right for you, and that is the right folder structure. So all right, so the last one is to make sure that you don't forget to build our Typescript into our JavaScript. So as you can see, our production script right here is gonna taking from this folder right here. As right now you can see we have only this one. So for now, what I can do is I'm gonna do yarn run build. So this one is gonna compile our everything inside here is gonna go into this one. So as you can see, we have this one, and then I'm gonna stop the server, and let's start our production. We can do yarn run start, and it should be working fine. And when you post to create a task, let's say task number 10, and as you can see, great, so it's working fine. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this video. So we've been doing a lot of this one, and all right, I hope you learned something from this one. I hope you enjoy this one, and thank you guys for watching until this end of the video, and I hope you have a good day. All right, see you guys in the next video. Peace. Bye bye.